Hi everyone, just wanted to provide a, brief summary for last week's work on care coordination and whatnot. I just want to talk a little bit about the care coordination atlas. I'm actually going to come back over here. So care coordination, and hopefully that you had some time to review the care coordination um, atlas and and what's involved in care coordination. Obviously, we had a video and some other reading with regard to care coordination overall. So, obviously, the purpose of the care coordination atlas is really to have coordinated care. And actually, I'm going to come over here to this other care coordination ring. The the point is truly to to have the patient's needs met um, in a high quality, high value system. And the key is to not break this ring. Um, to have all of these types of things connected without a break in the ring between, and like this says up here, transitions between entities and transitions over time. Um, so not just from primary to specialty care, but also a differentiation in time as well. So this is our care coordination ring, and we want to maintain this ring. We want this ring to um, to not be broken, and the care coordination atlas. The purpose of that is really to help us measure from AHRQ, which is a government agency, is trying to help us measure how well we're not breaking that ring. And I think you could probably guess right now what the ring is pretty broken. But in a lot of organizations, some places it's probably not broken. Some places are doing a good job, and we'll read about some that are. But in a lot of places that's pretty broken. So this is a little framework diagram of how those measures come into play. This was in the atlas for you to read. But so here, obviously our goal is coordinated care, which was in that chapter 2 where the care coordination ring was that you looked at last week. And our mechanisms are coordination activities. So it could be, true care coordination activities, discussions between physicians and other physicians and other team members, whatever that might be, physicians in hospitals, hospitals and home care agencies, whatever that care coordination activity might be. And then broad approaches could be a more broad care coordination activity like development of a EHR or development of a regional health informatics organization, something very broad. So, so the few different mechanisms that can have, of different types of effects, and those effects are experienced in different ways by the patient and family, by the healthcare professionals, and then by representatives of the system. And the measures that are developed, and as you saw, lots of different measures coming into play, and the measures themselves. I clicked right into chapter 3, but they're down in chapter 6 in the atlas, in the main atlas that we were looking at. The measures themselves there's like 85 of them. Different measures that can measure, there were things like patient surveys, but there are also things that were filled out by the system representatives or even the providers themselves. So lots of different measures to measure the different cases, different situations that could come into play for care coordination. So such an important element for this this aspect of what can move forward to obviously coordinate care, but ultimately improve value and improve quality. And obviously, it can be right now. This is really kind of a optional or voluntary piece as we look to improve care coordination. but in some plans, this is a requirement. And as we move forward in value over volume, coordination of care between the healthcare team, creating this ring and not breaking this ring is really what plans are going to be based on. Health plans and government plans in particular are really going to be focused on, okay, where's the care coordination? Why is this ring broken? And when this ring gets broken, penalties are going to be paid. I mean, that's where the broken ring is where it costs insurers money and it costs providers money. So how do we not break that ring? So that's really that's really the kind of the focus of this. And ultimately, not to be to take the focus off the finance for a minute. It really is better care for patients if my my long-term care, my mental health services, my specialty care, my primary care providers are all connected. That only makes for a better experience for me as a patient from a care perspective. So my care is, that continuum of care is truly met if they are all connected. And then link that all back over here to patient, family, education, and support. That's going to hopefully keep me out of long-term care, out of inpatient care, keep me at home, keep me well. So that's really the key, and the goal is that high quality, high value care. That's really kind of the ultimate goal. So that's really what I wanted to focus on for this week. For next week, what we have, and this is the Colorado Accountable Care Collaborative is one of these accountable care collaborative type situations where they're using data analytics for accountable care. And actually, you can even we're kind of focusing on the data analytics side, but always be thinking about in all of these situations, accountable care equals care coordination as well. So when you're thinking about healthcare planning and needs and accountable care, think about these care coordination situations, because accountable care systems, accountable care organizations, the purpose of that was care coordination. So when you're thinking about this particular case this week with the Accountable Care Collaborative, and as we discuss that this week, think about that care coordination and how care coordination comes into play there. Also this week in our writing assignment, we're going to be looking at a couple of different tools that are discussed, the MAP tool and the MAP-IT tool. I will say right now, I think the page limit is a little, you might not get that many pages. So if you're on the 3 side of 3 to 5, I think that's probably plenty. I think that the page, I think there's only so much to write about there with those particular tools. So if you tend to be on the shorter side, 3 to 5, I think that's probably, I'm okay with that. I don't have a problem. You guys write a lot in this class. So so if you have only, on the shorter side for this writing assignment, that's not a problem. There's not a lot of, it's not a really robust writing assignment, and as I said, you guys write a lot in this class, so I don't have an issue with that. Okay, so I think that's all I've got this week. I just wanted to share that detail about the Care Coordination Atlas. I think that there's a lot of great info in there, and I just didn't want that to get lost. So any questions on anything this week, please let me know, and look forward to chatting with you on the discussion boards. Thanks so much.